everyone, and welcome to Flow Mountain Bike. Now, in case you missed it, there is a new Merida eOne 60 on the market, and Ollie here has been sunning himself over in Girona, Spain, getting a few days on board the new bike on the wild and rocky trails over there. Ollie, tell us all about it. What is the new bike like? I've got 1,000 questions for you. Let's get into it.
Overall impression, the bike descends like a normal bike. So it just the moment I got to the top, within 10 meters on the trail, I almost forgot that it had a motor.
That is great, because so many e-mountain bikes don't descend like a normal mountain bike. I want a motor to get me to the top, and then I want to forget about it.
Absolutely.
And then I want to ride the bike like it's a normal bike on the descent.
Yeah, so overall, basically, it's a bike that's been built with descending in mind. So it climbs well enough, but boy, it feels really, really good on the descent.
One of the things that we were chatting before is that you mentioned the bike really felt very precise on the trail.
Yeah, so I guess probably two things. The first thing was the tyre choice.
Yep.
So they're running a 2.5-inch Maxxis tyre up front.
Yep.
And that felt way more precise than I guess what we're used to with a lot of the e-bikes.
Big plus tyres, yeah.
Plus tyres. So
Yep.
so that was awesome. Turned in really well. Bigger wheel up front as well. So
2.9er up front.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. And also, I guess the lower center of gravity. So they have made some changes to the center of gravity, and it does sit pretty low. So obviously the battery's now integrated into the frame,
which means it's going to be lower down than sitting on top of the downshift.
That's it.
Cool.
And they've also dropped the crank length from 175 to 165.
Yep.
And that has allowed them to bring that bottom bracket height even lower.
I like the whole idea of going to shorter cranks on an e-bike. One, you pedal them a lot because you're climbing. You're not doing so much lunging and body language sort of stuff to get bikes up. You just churn away. So you're always pedaling over really rough and rocky terrain. So I've spent quite a lot of time riding the old E160. It was the E160 900. I had that bike for about 6 months. It was a long-term test bike of mine, so I got very familiar with it. I'm in a good position, I guess, to quiz you about the old bike versus the new bike. But before we delve into some of the features and the way it rode, the pricing is something I want to talk about, because that old E160 was super aggressively priced. What are your thoughts on the pricing?
I think to me, like, my impression of the pricing is it's more realistic now. This is still a bike that's basically full XTR, full factory Fox suspension, carbon wheels, with a carbon frame as well, and on top of the range Shimano motor. So
Merida, maybe don't be nervous about it. It's actually pretty bloody good value.
Yeah, absolutely.
This thing doesn't have a motor in it. It costs more than that.
Exactly. Yeah.
One of the changes I made with the old E160 was I popped a longer travel fork on it. I went from a 160 fork to a 170 fork, and that was all about kicking back the head angle a little bit. Has that been addressed at all on the new bike?
Yeah, big time.
Okay.
So that's a really big feature. Definitely getting on the old bike as well on day one, and then jumping onto the new bike. Yeah. The slacker head angle makes a huge difference.
Okay.
So obviously they've got a bigger wheel up front, so that allows them to make the head angle slacker naturally. Okay. But yeah, definitely improves the descending characteristics of the bike.
I always found the old bike, the front end wanted to tuck a little bit.
Yeah.
And until I put that longer travel fork on, so that's cool to hear that's changed. On the rear suspension, I had a problem with the rear end feeling a little bit linear on the old bike. I jammed as many spaces as I could into that rear shock to try and get some more progressivity into the rear shock. Is that even a real word? Progressivity?
Progressive, yeah.
Progressivity. So that's what I tried to do. And the new bike addresses that as well?
Yes, it does. Look, it does feel more progressive. I'm not sure what they've done in terms of playing with the linkage that much, or maybe they've already fitted some spaces from factory.
Okay.
But yeah, it definitely has a more progressive feel, and I didn't feel like I was running out of travel.
The chainstay length of the old bike was something that I always raved about. The fact that it was a lot shorter in the rear end than most of the competition. That's been preserved. Yep.
They have not made any changes to that at all. It's the exact same rear triangle, so yeah. Cool. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
The choice to run a 29-inch wheel up front and a 275 out back is something that we're seeing a lot more of. Obviously, World Cup downhill races have started to do it too. Yep. Did it feel weird riding a 29-inch front and a 275 rear?
Honestly, I didn't think about it. Like, I didn't notice it, and the match was actually pretty good, because it still allowed that back end to still be pretty fun and playful, and it allowed the front end to get down to business.
Yeah. Okay.
I think in their press release somewhere they said something like the Ferrari of bikes. Yeah, well, I don't know about that. Yeah. But look, it does look really good, aesthetically pleasing.
That's cool. So in terms of the integrated battery, it is still a removable battery. Obviously, we've ridden a bunch of bikes recently. The Norco, for instance, the VLT, Sight VLT. not a removable battery. And that looks great. You might argue you don't need to remove the battery that often, but it is a handy feature to have.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things is that they actually integrated the so basically to remove the battery, you do need an Allen key to unlock it effectively, but that's actually integrated into the rear wheel and the rear wheel axle.
Oh, right.
So you can actually pull that out of the axle and use that to remove the battery. And it's also handily a 4mm and 6mm Allen key.
I guess cool visual features with the bike is those little grills up the front. Your little fly screens. What's that all about?
Yeah, so Thermogate TM or whatever whatever it's called. Yeah, I mean, like it's a cool feature. It kind of actually looks kind of cool as well. Really, what it is, it's designed to allow excess heat from the battery to dissipate.
It's interesting to hear then how the bike has evolved over the last sort of 3 or 4 years. And we're expecting these bikes to be in Australia, unfortunately not for a few months. I think they're not landing here until September, which is all to do with Shimano and the batteries apparently. But there are 4 models in the range in the carbon version, and they are still doing the alloy version of the bike at cheaper price points.
That's right, yep.
So there are still going to be a big spread of price points.
Something for everyone.
That's right. That's it. Flow Mountain Bike is who we are. Thanks very much for watching. If you like what we do, please subscribe to the channel. Give us a like, give us a comment. Tell us you love us, tell us you hate us. We don't mind, and we love to hear from you regardless. And thank you, Ollie. We're glad you got some good time on the bike over in Girona.
Welcome.
See you.